Our solar system is divided into two parts: inner solar system and outer solar system. Inner solar system have four planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. Outer also have four: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Before August 24, 2006, Pluto used to consider as a planet, but on August 24, 2006, International Astronomy Union began considering Pluto as a dwarf planet, 76 years after its discovery in 1930. Hello everyone. Today we will going to talk about Io, the most volcanically active celestial object in our solar system. It is orbiting the solar system's largest planet, Jupiter. Before getting into Io, let me tell you some of the facts on Jupiter. Because it is one of the oldest planets in our solar system, formed 4.5 billion years ago during the formations of our Sun. As a result, it was formed from the same dust and gases which consist our Sun. It has the shortest day in our solar system, taking only 10.5 hours to spin around its own axis, but takes about 12 years to complete one orbit of the Sun. The planet is so big, if Jupiter was a hollow shell, 1000 Earth could fit inside. It has a massive moon ecosystem around it. As of 5th February 2024, 95 moons has been discovered yet by our scientists, which is one of the largest but not the largest. Largest number of moons are in Saturn's ecosystem, and the number is staggeringly high, that is 146. The massive number of moons of Jupiter's satellite system called the Jovian system. Among them, 4 are called the Galilean moons. They are Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Now you definitely have a question, and the question is in your mind, which is, why these are called the Galilean moons? Because these moons were discovered by Galileo Galilei in between December 1609 to March 1610. They became the first solar system object discovered since humans have started tracking the classical planets, and the first object to be found to orbit any planet beyond Earth. Ganymede is the largest among the Galilean moons, and it is also the largest in our solar system. Io is the third largest among them, slightly larger than Earth's moon, and it is the fourth largest moon in the solar system. Following the discovery of Io, it was proven that the planetary bodies orbit something other than Earth, and it also proven the Copernican view of Sun's center in our solar system and the other planets are moving around it. In 1771, the great mathematician Laplace discovered the Laplace resonance between these Galilean moons. Io, Europa and Ganymede are in 4:2:1 orbital resonance with each other. That means if Io is taking 1 hour to complete one rotation around Jupiter, then Europa would take 2 hours and Ganymede would take 4 hours. The moon used to be the mysterious object for the scientists because there are so little information about Io. There were myths and stories based on Io. Some of the stories were out of line and some were not. Most of the stories about Io was its gas tail. Everybody wanted to know what was it and what it is made up of. Different kinds of speculations were there, but the world got the answer in 1979 when Voyager 1 at last visited Io. It revealed several fascinating and bizarre facts of Io. For the first time, the world came to know about the extreme volcanic activity of that moon. Not only volcanic activities, the world also knew about its active plumes, thermal anomalies, mountains, and sulfuric atmosphere. Io has 400 active volcanoes, most in any celestial object in our solar system. This extreme geological activity is the result of tidal heating from friction generated within Io's interior as it pulled between Jupiter and the other Galilean moons, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Its surface is also dotted with more than 100 mountains that have been uplifted by extensive compression at the base of Io's silicate crust. Some of these peaks are taller than Mount Everest. Unlike most of the moons in the outer solar system, which are mostly composed of water ice, Io is primarily composed of silicate rock surrounding a molten iron and iron sulfide core. As the moon is extremely volcanically active, as a result of that, Its atmosphere is made up of sulfur and sulfur dioxide. Io's volcanism is responsible for many of its unique features. Let me tell you some of the features. Its volcanic plumes and lava flows produce large surface changes and paint the surface in various subtle shapes or shades of yellow, red, white, black, and green. These shades are primarily being produced as a result of allotropes and compounds of sulfur. As Io is extremely near to Jupiter, that is why it comes under extremely hostile radiating environment of it. Io received around 36,000 rem or 36 sieverts ionizing radiation per day. Let me tell you what is that. Let me tell you how extreme this ionizing radiation that Io is receiving per day. 1 millisievert is equivalent to 3 chest X-rays. And astronauts, when they goes to the space, they are exposed to the ionizing radiations in the range from 50 to 2000 millisievert, which is equivalent to 150 to 6000 chest X-rays. So you can clearly understand how powerful radiation Io is receiving every day, every minute. If we calculate the number, it comes around 108,000 chest X-rays, which will fry any living things like the human beings even with space suits. So it is impossible for any human beings comes near to Io or Jupiter. But several spacecrafts has already paid visit to this beautiful but dangerous moon. And I have already mentioned the voyage of the Voyager 1, and the Voyager 2 also paid her a visit. Among all spacecrafts, Galileo performed several close flybys in the 1990s and early 2000s, obtaining data about Io's interior structure and surface composition. These spacecraft also revealed the relationship between Io and the Jupiter's atmosphere and the existence of a belt of high-energy radiation centered around Io's orbit. Further observations has been made by Cassini-Huygens in 2000, New Horizons in 2007, and Juno has been doing since 2017. And it will continue to do so until its year of defunct, which is 2025. Now let me tell you how it got its name. Based on suggestion from John Kepler in October 1613, he devises a naming scheme based on the lover of Greek god Zeus or his Roman equivalent Jupiter. He named the innermost moon after the Zeus or Jupiter's mortal lover Io. Io is extremely beautiful and it is dragging NASA towards it again and again. NASA is planning to launch Io Volcanic Observer in January 2029. It will perform 10 flyby operations of Io while in orbit around Jupiter beginning in the early 2030s. Io is too close to Jupiter. It is only 350,000 km away from the Jupiter's cloud top. It is the fifth moon out of Jupiter, lying between Thebe and Europa. This moon takes only 42.5 hours to complete one orbit around Jupiter. Now you definitely have one question in your mind whether Io is tidally locked or not because of its proximity to its home planet Jupiter. And we also know that the moon is tidally locked. And yes, Io is tidally locked. Now we need to know what is tidally locked means. It means Io rotates on its axis and complete one orbit of Jupiter in the same amount of time, causing the same side of Io always face Jupiter. Tidally locking occurs when the torque from a bulge on the one side of the moon is stronger than the torque from the bulge on the other side, causing the moon's rotation of synchronized with its orbit period or orbital period. Io has the highest density in the solar system. It also has the strongest surface gravity and the lowest amount of water of any known astronomical object in the solar system. One day, the Earth will going to miss Io. Why I am saying so, let me explain. As Jupiter rotates, it takes its magnetic field around with it, and it has a very strong magnetic field, which is 20,000 times stronger than our Earth, and it is bombarding Io day and night. It is stripping off about 1,000 kilograms of Io's material every second. This material becomes ionizing in the magnetic field, and the forms of donut-shaped cloud of the intense radiation referred to as the plasma torus. Some of the ions are pulled into Jupiter's atmosphere along the magnetic lines of force and they create auroras in the planet's upper atmosphere. It is the ions escaping this torus that would further inflate the Jupiter's magnetosphere. This is one of the unique event that is happening in our solar system. And the aurora which is happening entire surface of Io is also very unique. It is not limited to its pole as we are seeing in case of Jupiter and in case of Earth. It creates different color for different ionizing particle. Green for sodium, red for oxygen, and blue for sulfur. That you could want to know about Io. Of course, there are a lot more to know about this mysterious moon. Let me suggest you a book, and the book name is Io After Galileo, written by Lopez and Spencer. If you want to know more about Io, please go follow these books. And if you have any questions regarding Io, please ask me on my comment section. I would be happy to give you the answer. So thank you very much. Thank you for your support.